Toxie, you ready for tea time? Are you ready for Queen Charlotte's tea, Toxie? Toxie, it's tea time. Let's roll. Hey y'all, welcome back. We are going to be going over episode 2 of season 3, Bridgerton. So this one, I felt like the vibe of Queen Charlotte's tea would go well with this one, just because it was a little saucy there every now and then, a little bit of clutching your pearls, shall I say. I have my two co-stars here, and clearly we have a guard dog because she's barking and yelling at anybody going up and down the street. Just crazy. So if the video is chopping, it's that dog right there is her fault. Her fault. But y'all already know she's off the chain. She's off the chain. Anyways, let's jump into the episode. So I like the immediate thing that I have here is that Queen Charlotte is giving nautical vibes with her twist. And when I tell you her hair, her wig collection, it has so much range. Like it is crazy. I was just like, whoa. I don't want to say taken aback because I feel like when you say taken aback, that's like, but I was just like, wow, like, okay, girl, okay. I don't know. It was something about the brownish red, but like the way that the twists were done, like it was cute. And now I'm curious. I'm like, I wonder how long does it take for them to create the wigs? And then I can't even imagine how long it takes to put it on her and like make it look so, the vibe. Like, oh, I don't know. She has to have the patience of a saint because whew, it looks like it's a lot. In this scene, she was talking to Lady Danvers about the mamas and everybody and their mama out here trying to vie for her affection. And when I tell you the bribery was fierce, did y'all see all those necklaces? I was like, she's like, oh yeah, and all these necklaces, blah, blah, blah. I mean, diamonds and pearl, like all of the things. It looked like K Jewelers up in there. Really? But then, if you think about it, back then, like real people, like they didn't have no money like that. So then I'm like, you look at these royal people, and they out here just throwing diamonds at the queen to get favor for their kid. But like, there's no guarantee that their kid is going to even find a match with. It couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. I'm like, that's just throwing money down a wormhole. Mm-mm. So the next scene, oh, and little Miss Pin, she was getting ready. I loved how like all of a sudden she bumped out with her like romantic soft glam. I was like, and when the lady was helping her get dressed, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so glad that your mom kept these dresses for you." And honey, when she said, "A looking glass does not lie," I need to write that on a mirror somewhere around this house. A looking glass does not lie. I was like, okay, like, all right. So then they were in the garden or like the hot tail looking event. And Colin was out there trying to talk and tell Pim what to do. And I was like, really, Colin? Really? Like you out here trying to direct her and tell her what to say, who to say it to, this and the third. And I know Finn wanted to slap him with that fan when he said, not to me, to them. And she was struggling, my poor girl. She was struggling. But what she was not struggling with was that bosom, okay? The bosom was bosoming, the bosom was busting, okay? Pam was out here. I was like, Pam, oh my gosh, a lady. She said, this is the third season, honey. You finna see all these cups, okay? All these cups. So next up, we move to the Featherington Floozy sisters, when they are in the house. Also, it probably sounds crazy at this point, or it might even sound like, I don't know, my memory is trash. But over the past couple of days, I had a sinus infection. Y'all definitely did not want to hear my voice, but I like wrote down and tried to coordinate so at least it would give it maybe a little bit more flow than the last video, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But anyhow, so in this one, we're looking at the Featherington sisters, and they in the house, these little floozies. And the mom is like trying to get them to be like, look, y'all need to be working on this air so we can secure this property. Okay. We got to secure the bag. And I put, oh, wow, they're really cutting up with avoiding talking about how familiar They are. I was just like, really? And then they said, I said, it's playing too close to the evil stepsisters of Cinderella trope, which I feel like it was. Cause I mean, they were just anytime they could take a dig at my girl Pen, like, am I a Pen stan? I mean, clearly, as you can see. But I was just like, I mean, how long? How long are we gonna carry on with this? But whatever, that's fine. So then we go to Colin, who was in the little brothel bed, and I said, "Well, excuse the heck out of me, Mr. Colin, out here getting familiar with multiple ladies. It was familiar gathering." Because in the previous episode, I was like, this just feels like high school when the little people out there talking about all that they've done and this, that, and the other. They want to put out this illusion that they're so worldly and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, they have not. The only thing they've been familiar with is their own hands. But I was like, well, excuse me, Colin, my bad. Let me be quiet. Put me in my place. I guess you was doing a little something, something in Paris. I guess you was out here dipping and dining, I guess. Excuse me, my bad. He said he ain't new to he ain't new to it. He true to it. He trying to get familiar. And then part of me was just like, I mean, I've watched a lot of shows on HBO. I am no, but for some reason, it just felt like it was just a lot for a Netflix show, and for Bridgerton, I was just like, okay, we showing a lot of we showing a lot of cookies. I mean, like, and yes, does it sound like I'm kind of being a little double sided here? Because I'm like, yeah, Pen's out here showing her bosom, but like, Pen is not waterboarding us to death with milk. Like, we're good. We're good. We're getting just enough. Our imaginations can run. But then with the brothel scene and some of the other scenes, I was just like, I mean, are we supposed to pay more for this? Or like, did somebody contract Playboy? Like, what is going on here? This is a lot. This is a lot for this little show now. Like, I'm gonna have to cover up the dog's eyes for the rest of the episode. I was like, okay. So after all of that, because that was a lot, we move on to the market scene with Penn and Colin. And I said, well, I didn't care for the little smirk when Penn was like, because Penn, like, she'll be trying to get all the smoke. Well, she tries to hear the smoke so she can write the smoke as Lady Whistle down, but like, she don't really be trying to be in no drama and stuff. But then Winnie, it's fine. People can be out. Sterling, people can be out. You don't own this neighborhood. See, these two would be the people in the market talking smack. Why are you talking smack about the people? They're just walking. They're just walking their little dog. Hmm. Apparently, there were two dogs, or I think maybe three dogs that they were walking, and Winnie did not care for the fact that somebody else is out here with three dogs. I guess I don't know. She's crazy. So I didn't care for the way that I mean, I get it that he's trying to help her, but it just rubbed me the wrong way because he's all like trying to act like, oh, he's all, oh yeah, no one's gonna say anything. Everything's cool, everything is good. I got you. I'm gonna get you a man. Like, don't worry about it. Da, 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 da. But Penn is being more realistic. It is like, pump the brakes. Like, let's just be careful because people might talk. Like, I'm the lady. I don't want to be out here looking ruined. And in the previous season, she saw somebody else get ruined by the street. So she ain't really trying to be out here getting ruined either. Despite Winnie's low growl at probably another dog outside the door. The thing is like, I was just so perplexed by that little smirk that was on his face when she said, I should go before I get noticed. Because then I'm like, oh, Colin, are you trying to get her noticed? Like, what's really good? Why you have that little smirk? Or are you feeling full of yourself because you thinking that Pen all about you and what's really good with that little smirk? Or maybe I read into it. Maybe I read into it. I don't think I did, but maybe we'll just let it slide for now. We'll let it slide for now. So next up, we are at the dress store, and Monridge lady, she's getting her dress altered, and the dress is from the old, the old cold and buried in the ground. A lady of Kent, fixing up her dresses and stuff. And so I thought it was like really cute and neat that the dressmaker was saying, like, oh, the time to love something new and to step into your new self and this, that, and third. And she was pushing her to like go into a new life. And I was like, oh, this is so cute and like uplifting at the same time. And then they cut to Eloise, and I'm just like, here we go. Eloise always up to something. She always got something to say, like Winnie does right now. Winnie, would you like to say something? Cricket. So after that, we move over to the drawing room scene where Ken and Colin, they're trying to have their little time to learn and this, that, and the third, or whatever. And then next thing you know, they hear voices and hear that Eloise is home. Pen freaks out. And so he's like, oh, go hide in the study. And so I was like, first of all, I roll at the drawing room pretend scene because, like, they are just playing it up. And maybe it's because I've seen a lot of Disney shows and rom coms in my life, but it just felt like pandering. It didn't feel genuine in a sense where, like, it was just, I don't know, I'm just not used to this new Colin. And it just, he comes out very fake, very full of himself, and it's just very unattractive personally to me. And so it's just like to watch Penn kind of like try to smush herself down or trying to the two dogs are going back again. Trying to like smush herself down into this little mold of being the novice. I mean, is she a novice? Yes, but like at the same time, I mean, this is powerful pen. Like you don't want to be on the opposite side of her pen. I just wasn't feeling it. It just kept leaving Colleen just keeps leaving a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. I don't know how to fix it, how to make it go away. But those were the feelings that I felt. I was like, what is he up to? Is he really that dense? Like when they're talking and she's trying to explain to him all the stuff that's going on, da 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 da. So then when Eloise comes in and he's like, oh, Winnie, it's fine. I know. You didn't care for the scene either. So it was wild when he told her to go into the study, and y'all know that little journal was there. And I was like, oh, here we go. Like, and I just knew that she was going to look in that journal and like find some like random Bridgerton secret or something. But no, she over here reading his words about how he longs for more than lust and to be familiar with someone but to feel it in his heart and da 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 da. And I'm just like, girl. So now we know his little parish trollops and all that stuff is real. Then on top of that, he's what's the nice way to say this? He's sticking and rolling in any orifices that he can find, and it feels nothing from it. Like I'm gonna need for you to wake up and smell the roses here. Like he's not about this husband life that we know of. He ain't about this husband life. So let be like Frozen and let him go. And then it's like part of me I could understand that maybe she was into it because like he writes like a real writer like myself. He's really into using his words and his words have feelings and da 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 da. But then at the same time, I'm just like, man, what do you see in this fool over here writing about his little familiar escapades? Like, be for real. Be for real. And then when he magically got cut, I mean, okay, it wasn't magically. I'm just being sassy and annoyed. But then of course the scene where she's wrapping his hand up and and all that. Okay. So after that, she left, and then they cut forward to the scene because it was like a ball that night. And Eloise was talking to Colin, like, why was Penn here? Because for some reason, Eloise act like the whole daggone world revolves around her. And then she was like, I hope she's not seeking a husband in you. And I'm like, Eloise, if you don't pipe down and mind your own business, you need to worry about yourself and this new pet project that you have with Cressida. That's what you need to be worried about. Don't be worried about what Penelope doing. You claim she dead to you, so let her be dead to you. Why you worried about if she over here? She wasn't looking for you. She wasn't looking for you to write no dirt up about you because you ain't doing nothing but sitting here and complaining and coming up with how to be a mean girl with Cressida. Lady Whistledown don't want to write about you. Don't nobody care about you, Eloise. Like, she was just, she need to worry about herself. That's what she need to do. Okay. She need to do. And her mean friend. like Winnie. Winnie, you keep on. I'm gonna start calling you Eloise. Eloise. So we move on to the actual ball itself. It was wild, man. When I tell you, them girls were dropping down low, getting they eagle on with them curtsies. Okay, they was out here trying to scrub the ground to try and get the queen's favor. I was like, ooh, child, I ain't got no Meg the Stallion needs to go that low, but I guess you got to do what you got to do, honey, to be able to get the queen's favor out there. Cause golly, oh, that was a mess. So I was like, seriously, Eloise, when she opened her big tail mouth unprovoked, talking about some, oh, well, Collins helping Penelope, like, that ain't nobody business. It's not even your business. And you literally just told your brother that you weren't going to tell anybody. And why Colin would have told her in the first place is absolutely beyond me because he should know that his sister is a little gossip. But Colin don't be making the right life choices either. So I don't even know why I have such high expectations. So with this whole thing with Eloise telling Cressida this little deep and salacious secret, it was just like foreshadowing. Like here we go. We know the foolishness is gonna happen. Somebody gonna find out. It's gonna be a mess. So then they move on to Francesca, and she's like attempting to try to bond over the music with the guy, and the guys are just these guys just out here trying to get hot and familiar. And it's just wild because I'm like, I get it that they're portraying younger people in the scenes, but it's just, I don't know, it just blows my mind. I'm like, man, like, is everybody in heat in these shows? Like, what is going on? But her dress was absolutely beautiful. I love the gold, rose gold vibe that she had going on. I was like, go girl, go Francesca. I see you, baby. And then the two feathering daughters, I mean, they were just given beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. Because other than the beautiful gowns, I don't know what else they had going on, especially up here, because they were cutting up. Just just cutting up. And poor Lady Featherington, the mama, I just know she was ready to pull out all her hair, all her wigs, and everything with them too. Because I mean, I was like, is she gonna have to teach a getting familiar class with her kids and show them how it's done or what they need to do? Because oh, they were acting up. Oh, and then Mr. Fitch, I don't want no minute man. Poor Mr. Fitch. She's talking about that was so mean. Okay, I will give her that. Like she might have played dumb, but she was a little mean. And I would tell her about, oh yeah, we were kissing and blah 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 blah. And yeah, then we were done. He didn't even take his pants off. I'm like, no one needed to know that. We did not need to know that. Did we put Mr. Finch's business all out here? Like, where is Missy Elliott when you need her? Her and Tweet and all of them, because Mr. Finch is a minute man, I guess, and he needs a little theme song. Bless his heart. So I was surprised in the scene when Eloise told Cressida, and Cressida was like, because she knew how salacious that would come off and how it would ruin Penn and da 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 da. And I just knew that they were getting ready to foreshadow and jump to Cressida spilling the beans to either like some guy she was dancing with on the dance floor or another female or something there. But and so far, nothing. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, maybe it's not going to be a thing. Maybe it's cool. So then we jump forward because clearly, I was not prepared. Oh, right after I gave Cressida her props, like, bam! I was like, is this a fever dream? Like the way that everybody started whispering, it was getting louder, and we have like this surround system thing hooked up to the TV. So it was just like I could just hear it all around. It almost felt like I was in the scene. And I'm like, is this a fever dream? Is this a nightmare? Like, there's no way that this is real life. Like, what is happening? Where are all these whispers coming from? Like, what is going on? But no, somebody opened their big tail mouth. And then I'm like, on top of that, I'm like, they weren't even at the ball that long. So who did Cressida even have to tell at this point? And like, how could she? I mean, I know stuff spreads like wildflower, but like, how could she have told people that quick at the ball and it spread literally that fast? Like, I could have sworn they just danced or were like talking and stuff for a few minutes and then whoop, there it is. Whew, Lordy B, that was just too much. Just way too much. So then we cut over to Queen Charlotte. I'm hearing Francesca playing on the piano, and she's like, brava, sparkling, one might say. And I was like, ooh, just call Francesca, Francesca the new Rose, honey, because she just made her little debut. Oh, that was funny. That was just too funny. So then they showed a vision of like the Modriches, and like I feel bad for them because they just I don't know. Like the husband is all gassing the wife up, like yeah, we gonna live our best new life. Da, 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 da. And they're having a hard time of like letting go of their old life. And they have the help of like Danbury and other people, but I kind of wish that, well, I can't say for them to have an episode because it's only 8 episodes, but it's almost like the little bits and pieces that we see of them. It's so fractured and segmented that I feel like you don't really get a chance to understand and like connect with the actual characters. And then I have this feeling that something is going to come up because it's like, well, they're struggling so much to fit into this new lifestyle mentally. It's so like, there's going to be something big coming along. But at the same time, I just feel like I don't have that much of an investment to know or to really get involved or trying to figure it out. So I feel like it was kind of unfair to them, or like maybe we need more interaction between them and the main characters to kind of like pull them in and to get me to care more or something. I don't know, but it just feels very like side questy. Okay, so next up, after the ball, we're watching everybody getting familiar, getting their gardens tended to or watered, however you would like to describe it. And it was funny because they show Lady Danbury, because Lady Danbury been out here hustling, honey. She trying to make the queen look good. She trying to find the diamond of the season, which is now the sparkler of the season. And I said that Danbury was like, the shortbreads and the piano fortes were not enough. She had to roll up a J to celebrate after finding Francesca playing the piano. And that tickled Queen Charlotte's fancy. And then the Featherington girls, like I guess the mother gave them good instructions, honey, because everybody was getting busy after the ball. Okay. So then next up, we have Eloise bucking up on Cressida about her communicating secrets. So like Eloise is just sitting there in her feelings or whatever, and Cressida rolls up, and I was just like, it's not going to be her. I just had this feeling that it was not going to be Cressida because of the way that trifling little Eloise got the audacity to be coming up to Cressida with all this smoke talking about, oh, you communicating secrets, and she out here trying to be knuck if you buck, holier than thou. Da, 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 da. She ain't even asked the girl a question, but yet there she go trying to act like she better than somebody else. Like Eloise need to check herself, or somebody need to get her in check because she cutting up. And I was like, please, like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And then boom, you played your face when you found out that it wasn't Cressida. And then Cressida is like, you need to check yourself because you shouldn't have been over here talking all this smack in front of Clara Livingston and the whole daggone gang. If you really cared or you knew how you felt about Penelope, then you wouldn't be having this problem and looking like a fool. And for that, Cressida gets 5 claps for me because she was telling the truth. She was telling the truth. And yes, being the crazy person that I am, I rewinded back and looked, and yes, Livingston was literally right next to Cressida. So it makes sense. It makes sense. And we all know Eloise can't whisper to save her life. So anyhow. So next up we go to Penn getting cursed out by Lady Featherington, which was wild. Cause I'm just like, dang, like the girl just got embarrassed in front of everybody. Like, do we really have to go in and with Lady Whistledown, sharing her thoughts and opinions? But I was like, I mean, I am familiar with having self-deprecating thoughts, but my goodness, she's talking about some maybe she should go back to the shadows for once and for all. For once and for all, I mean, she just had her little friend help her. Like, that's it. But they act like she done up forever. It's a wrap. I'm like, dang, these people are judgy. Golly. So then we are closing off with Colin rolling up on the scene at Penelope's house, and now there's a helicopter overhead. I mean, between these random dogs outside that Winnie wants to bark at, and of course I put Winnie down so that the other two what to follow her to see what she's doing, where's she going. And now the helicopter coming over, and I'm sure soon one of the neighbors is getting ready to start cutting their grass. They just don't want me to finish this episode. They just want me to just be stuck here like a rose frozen in time. Anyhow, okay, so it's quiet again. So for the last scene, we have Colin rolling up that night to Pen's house when the lady is like, "Oh, Pen, you have a visitor outside." Da, 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 da. And then we see this Colin. I'm like, Colin better be about that life. Because don't be rolling up at this girl's house at night after what she just went through. Everybody talk about, oh, she's so pitiful. She needs you as a friend to help her and this, and third. Then you're going to roll up at her house at night. Like, don't be on no BS. So I was like, he better make a move. He better do something. Okay. Then talking about, I had to see how you were. I had to see how you were doing. What clearly you was busy talking to Eloise and you ain't run after her to comfort her or to leave with her. But all of a sudden you want to roll up when the street lights are out. I was shooketh when Penn was like, excuse me, I can't even call her Penn for this one. Miss Penelope Featherington was like, would you kiss me? What? I said, Penelope. Then she talking about, I don't want to die, never have big kids, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, ooh. All right, we got one of the co-stars back. Let's see how this goes. So I was just shocked. I was like, okay, Penelope, like, I hear you, girl. I hear you. Penelope said, these luscious lips will not go untouched. Okay, she's not going to be Sleeping Beauty. So then when Colin was like looking skeptical, and I'm just like, Colin, are we serious? Because you was just out here with these ladies at this little brothel. You swear up and down that you are a ladies' man, aka a little gigolo out here. So, I mean, if your friend asked you to give her a little peck on the lips, then why are you looking crazy? Why are you acting crazy? Why you hesitating, Colin? Because last time I checked, you claim that you love being real familiar with everybody and then some. Okay, it was wild, but then he went in for it and it got very passionate, and I was like, all right, who finna jump out of the bushes and go run and tell this story? Because it just felt too suspicious that it all just started happening. And I was just like looking for a servant or somebody to be like, ooh, got him. Or, ooh, let me tell Lady Whistledown about this. Y'all ain't never gonna believe who I saw out in the streets. But I was shocked. I was shocked. I was like, oh, okay. I guess they won't know. I guess it's going to be kept under lock and key. So after he kissed her the first time, and I was like, yeah, Colin, open your eyes, fools. Those, I was like, those fiery body waves, got you, okay. And those little looks and them little green dresses she was in. It all of a sudden, all the little pieces to the puzzle started fitting in. He like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't even realize the emerald that I had in my hand. Like, yeah, fool, and you need to recognize. But what was wild, what I enjoyed was like after it, it seemed like Penelope was like, okay, checkmate, like, and we're done, and it's time to move on. I was like, dang, like, Penelope, did you feel anything or you felt nothing? I mean, she was like a stone cold killer out here. She's like, I love him and I love him and leave him, honey, leave him left on red. And I was like, so, after that, that's how the episode ended. But I'm like, dang, I mean, does she even feel the same or even close to what Colin felt? Or like, what if Colin goes home and Colin is like, Penelope Featherington, that is my soon to be wife. That's who I needed to be with all this time. Is he gonna roll up on Penelope and Penelope be like, snooze you lose? Not saying that I want her to be like that, but like I just I'm very curious to see how our girl is going to react in the next episode if he pop up and say something like, I don't know. I'm curious. Like, what's going to be tea? What's going to be tea here? See, and this is how it goes. They have to know everything that's going on. And now, because we are trying to record outside of the lawnmowers outside, now they want play. They want to act crazy. You want to run around with your little tippy tappies. Yeah, yeah. It's time to play. It's time to play. You trying to be like Penelope? Say it's time to pay to play, baby. Okay. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. Okay. Anyhow, so that is it for episode 2. And we will catch you all in a little while for episode 3. Thanks for watching. Can you say bye? Say bye. Penelope is number 1. Penelope's your favorite? Yes.